Hi all, I'm Colin Haynes and this is Law Live. My next guest is an absolute powerhouse mediator, 5 years doing what she loves and thrives in, and is the founder of Upspring. Could you please make very welcome Marnie Cooper, who's here to talk about all things mediation. Marnie, how are you? Thanks for being on the
Hello.
show.
Oh, thanks for having me. I feel a bit nervous because I'm used to being the one who asks the questions, but thank you for inviting me on. So yeah, I'm ready. Let's do this.
It's my pleasure. We are the one who asks the questions here. So there you go. We'll be asking the good ones. But like, first things first there, Marnie, what is happening in your circle of influence right now? What's going on?
Well, I'm beautifully busy. Life is busy and I love it. I love my life. I'm doing a lot of financial settlements and, of course, children's arrangements. Everyone needs that before Christmas.
Of course.
And I've got a kid doing the HSC. So that's really interesting for me as well. And I think, look, totally different experiences, but each morning I've watched him go off to an exam looking really nervous. And yet I know he's been working on this systematically and studying really hard, staying up a little bit too late. And I think this is what I get on my, I get on my high horse and I talk in cliches. But this is what I talk about with mediation. Mediation is so much more than throwing people into a room. I mean, no wonder they're totally freaked out and think mediation is horrendous. But
yes,
we need to approach it the same way. You know, prepare, look at it systematically, do it in a measured pace, do it in smaller, like I even have smaller, shorter sessions of mediation for people and just getting them to feel more comfortable and getting them ready for it.
I hear sometimes start of a mediation, the person doing the mediator will say, my job is to make sure no one leaves happy, because if you leave happy, it means you got what you want. Is that true? Or do you like to do things differently?
Yeah, thank you. So I don't think it needs to be true. I know some really clever mediators who do tell people something like that. I think we need to talk about that more, because mediation can still be a way of getting what you want, but where everyone walks out happy. So, okay, not totally happy because it's not a most amazing experience,
No.
even if I do provide pastries. But I think this can be something that makes people feel a whole lot better about their situation.
Yes.
And this is why I go on about the preparation, because the more people have had time to just settle themselves into it, work on the issues and view this as, like a shared problem, and that they get time to explore the different options, well, then they're more likely that by the time they then get to mediation to feel like they have more, control or agency over the situation. And then they're more likely to come out with arrangements that reflect their life and they feel good about it.
Makes sense. Oh, well, and that's a good segue into what you do day in and day out. If you could describe your life using film titles, how would you do that?
I must be so boring, because I don't know how to really answer that one, other than I suppose maybe Mrs. Doubtfire meets Star Wars.
Oh, I love that, dear Mrs. Doubtfire. Oh, what a beautiful movie.
It is a gorgeous movie.
Star Wars. Why the Star Wars element?
Well, it's action-packed, people doing new things all the time. Yeah, lots of people traveling that hero's journey. And the Mrs. Doubtfire, I mean, I'm meeting people every day who are just trying to do, we'll do anything, just really love their kids, and we'll do anything for them.
I love that, and well said. And we've already got some friends of the show tuning in. We got Kayla Curtis, an absolute legend who I spoke to the other day. Look at my two favorite people. And then she said it again. Two of my absolute favorite people. So thank you, Kayla, for joining. We'll have to get you on the show soon. What does the word mediation mean to you, Marnie?
Well, it means a lot to me, and there's a lot about mediation that I love. And I view mediation as the opportunity to look at conflict as a shared problem. It means mediation means that we can, well, it gives us the opportunity to, I suppose, focus together on how to address something, how to address a problem, how to address the issues.
Yes.
And it's that exploring, and it's exploring the different options and I suppose different approaches. And then the mediation that I like to do, and I feel the way that I do it, is a way to just feel better about yourself and design something that you can look forward to or feel comfortable with.
And what are the challenges and rewards of that process do you find?
Yeah, they're good questions. Thank you. So,
please.
Well, some of the challenges with mediation is that I don't think people know how good it can be. But why would you? Because it's not as if you're expecting to ever go into mediation, is it? And it's certainly you're not preparing for any kind of separation or divorce or mediation.
No, you're going to be with that person forever, right?
Of course.
Yeah, that's the commitment. Sickness or life.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Richer or poorer?
Oh, well, true, very true. So I suppose that's the thing of showing people that it can be a lot better than they're expecting. And so once people realise that it's something that they can actually use and how it's going to work for them, they're totally in. Like they're really committed and they're in for it and putting in all the effort. But I suppose the challenge that I see is some people take on the challenge of trying to persuade their former partner to get involved with them. Yes, and I think, they don't. Yeah, and I really, because that's something I take on for them, but sometimes it's something they really want to work on themselves. And I think, well, that's great because this is what it is. You're meant to do these, you're meant to design this to suit you. But yeah, I do like to take on that challenge for them to persuade. Is it to persuade? No, I don't persuade, but I present mediation as an option. And because I'm just the type of mediation I do, facilitative mediation is just one option. But I find once people realise that it's going to work for them and it could be a nice experience, they're totally into it. So that's great. And there's the reward in itself. I
love that point of difference you're talking about as well. There's no persuasion, there's no manipulation. It is just giving options and facilitation.
Yeah, and this is the thing too. You don't prepare for separation. So it's not until once you're in it, no matter which way you get into it, how long it takes or how fast it's been, like you've been sprung with it, you don't know all the options and where you can go with that. And that's the difficulty with the navigating it as well. But mediation is a great option, but then it requires some talking to different people and doing some research on that too.
It really does. It really does. And again, Kayla's got some interaction here. How do you ensure, Marnie, that you keep the session child-focused? Great question, Kayla. Let's leave that up there.
Well, I mean, that's part of our training, isn't it? And Kayla would know that. I don't find it that hard to get people focusing on their children. Like they're coming into this totally focused on their kids. And I think that's something that I'd like to see like changing in our industry of more discussion about parties' experiences, because there's a lot of shame and worry when you're separating and worrying about how it affects the children. And people think that maybe we've got to remind them that this is really bad for their kids and they should sort themselves out and really focus on their kids. Like that's the message that can cause the shame quite a lot, because really they are focused on their kids already. And so sometimes maybe when emotions are heightened, I do need to use some skills to reorient people to their kids. But once again, it's part of that preparation as well. From the very, very beginning, I'm learning about their kids as well as them and giving them plenty of opportunities to always just rethink, how does this suit my child and what does it mean for them? Does that answer the question?
It does. I think so. And great question there, Kayla. And I would encourage anyone else watching. We're live on YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook. This is live, people. 1:12 Australian Eastern Standard Time on Thursday, the 19th of October. Please put your questions in the comments and we'll do our utmost to ask Marnie in real time here. And thank you for anyone re-listening or watching on the stream or the podcast. Any passion projects right now that you're working on, Marnie?
Oh, well, I've gone back to playing piano. So
Ooh.
I played piano all the time when I was a kid. I think my parents spent a lot of money on lessons for like 15 years and drove me all over Sydney performing. And I've got this upright grand that I have lugged from house to house my entire adult life, wherever I've lived. So rather than just dusting it, I've decided to go back to playing it, recognizing that I will never be like I was as a kid, but I'm finding it quite relaxing. And then I'm thinking, I've got to break the habit of that classical training and maybe get into jazz. So maybe
that's where it breaks out, right? That's where it breaks out. You can let yourself free.
Yes, that's it. Because I love jazz music. I grew up listening to jazz thanks to my dad. But yeah, playing classical piano very seriously. So yeah, maybe one day you might see me playing in a bar.
Yeah, well, there you go. This one's for all the lovers out there. Sure, it wouldn't surprise me and a half. There you go. Love song dedications with Marnie Cooper on the piano.
No.
Instead of Billy Joel Piano Man, Piano Lady, Marnie Cooper.
No, yeah, thank you.
Well, look, Kayla's got another question. This is a great one. How do you ensure both parties get the most out of the initial intake session with you? Thank you, Kayla.
That is a great question. Thank you. I view the intake. Now, I know that we've been trained, like the intake has some really critical components to it. Assessing for safety, determining suitability for mediation. But I spend a lot of time with people at their intake. And I do that for quite a few reasons. We need to get to know each other. And the more they share with me, the more I can help them. And I really want them to feel as comfortable as they possibly can and to trust me that I'm going to look after them at every step of the way, and including when we get to that final joint mediation sessions. And the intake is really great. If you spend time and don't rush people, it starts that process of them, I suppose, turning their mind to what the real issues are. And start seeing what those options could be. And so I view that as it's the mediation before the mediation. Like, it's a really critical time. So thanks Kayla for asking me about that one.
No, of course. Now I demand a love song dedication.
Oh, no, I wish I hadn't said anything
Thanks,
now.
Kayla.
Oh, no.
Well, now, if people are tuning in now, Marnie used to be a fantastic, and still is a fantastic pianist. What's your favorite song you used to love playing that, felt like electricity, kind of like Billy Elliot?
I can't think of any now. I just feel totally mortified that I've told everyone, because I'm thinking, what kind of passion project is this? Now I've got to continue on with it. And now at some point you're going to ring me up and ask me to report back on how I'm going. Thanks a lot.
That's all right. No, of course. I'm sure Ein Klein Natch Music or Für Elise is in there for you. All the old faithfuls from Mozart and Beethoven.
For the neighbours with those ones, yeah.
Oh, absolutely. This is changing gears a little bit, but obviously great towards the end of the stream. What would you like to see change in law? And you can be as honest as you like, Marnie.
Well, thank you. I think what I was saying earlier about things like a unhurried intake. So this is in mediation, of course, but not rushing people and having an understanding that, or more discussion about what people's experiences are. So what parties' experiences are with mediation, but also what their experiences are with separating. Because if you can try and turn, I suppose we turn our minds to thinking sort of like empathetic listening goes beyond attentional listening. So it's understanding what their perspective is. So if you can understand that these are real fears and real experiences that people have, like waking up on Christmas morning without their children, it's a really, look, it's an awful one. So then you've got to understand then how that affects people in having to have these discussions with you about this. So, and it's understandable then how they're going to behave and to not take what you're seeing as a mediator or a lawyer or anybody else at face value. And I think to also maybe different ways of maybe viewing the intake is really important to lead up to mediation, but also maybe viewing more or being mindful of what people's experiences are, but what they need. And so maybe having an intake and then throwing them into like a full-on day of mediation isn't going to serve them. And having like shorter sessions and preparation sessions. I mean, I have people who they are like I work with really successful people, and I mean, I'm always looking at each person thinking, what does this clever person need me to do for them? And sometimes like they're sensational in work and they've forgotten that they can negotiate and then they have the skills, let alone like financial skills and a whole lot of other things, but they have these skills that they've just forgotten that they're able to use in mediation. So we've got to give them opportunities to work on this and bring up their confidence level, and they're being reminded that they have a whole lot of strengths. Sorry, and this is where I said, I warned you that I get on my high horse. But yeah, I think we can
This is what the whole point is, to give you a soapbox there, Marnie. That's absolutely to raise you up.
Oh dear. Yeah. So maybe, but look a few things a bit differently.
Absolutely. Kayla's got another great question. This is Kayla's fourth great question. Come on. How do you personally feel about child-inclusive mediations?
Fantastic. So, yeah, we either we have child focus, we're bringing the child into the room, or we're talking about what the child's saying. I think this is probably a really good question for some people who are even more experienced with it than I am. So people who actually work with children to uncover or discover their views. But I love it provided that we've done the full assessment and really, really sure that parents are going to be okay with the information that they're given, and then we stay with them. And this is that whole support and getting to know people really well. How do we support people to be ready to, and then be able to use what it is that they're hearing?
Nicely said. Well done again, Marnie, and thanks again, Kayla. And on that, dispensing nuggets maybe to the younger generation, younger professionals, maybe starting their career in law or as mediators. What would you like to impart to them if they're tuning this or rewatching?
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Yes.
Well, certainly understanding as a mediator that we're not people. We're here to, I suppose, work with them, not on them.
Yes.
And then I suppose on that note, because people are the experts, I think I already said that, people are the experts in their own experiences, but we want to look at what kind of service we're providing people. So they need support in quite a few different areas. So like financial planning, mortgage brokers, maybe need a lawyer. So if you're starting out, you need some really good people in your team that you can send your clients to. So I suppose some of my advice would be, look at all those great people on LinkedIn and be brave and send those messages. I'll pick up the phone.
Let's grab a coffee. Let's grab a coffee.
Yes, because it is scary, but you're going to be received well by the smart, kind people, and they're the ones that your clients need as well. So yeah, work on your team. Go find those good people.
Absolutely. And the way to do it, I highly recommend this. You tell people, hey, John, I can see your accolades here. I'd love to send more business your way because we're looking to add value to our clients and add a great accountant or a financial planner or whatever it is. Anyone who doesn't meet you, in my opinion, doesn't really nurture their own business, because who want to add value to someone else's business by taking on those clients? So they'd at least be open up for a coffee. So well said there, Marnie. But when all is said and done, how would you, Marnie Cooper, like to be remembered?
Oh, I don't know if I want to be remembered by my client. So maybe in the short term, I remember that I was the nice one who, looked them in the eye and said, this is going to be okay. But I want to be remembered by my kids, of course. It's all about kids. Once you have kids, everything's about them.
It's legacy.
Isn't it?
Legacy.
So maybe that I was quirky and lovable, that I took them mountain biking and I bored them with motivational talks. I mean, they're good kids, though. They humour me and they listen to me. But, yeah, I get on my high horse about a few things. But, yeah, maybe the fact that I just made really good pesto pasta. I'll be fine with that.
Oh. Marnie Cooper, the pesto pasta absolute savant. Well done. Well done. Nicely said. And I think that's a good message to wrap it up on. It is all about those closest to you who remember you and love you, not those in business or remembering what car you drove, the kind of house you had. It's all about those meaningful interactions and the people that you love. So well said there, Marnie.
Oh, thanks, Cullen.
My pleasure. And where can people find you before we sign off? Where are you hanging out the most?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn and I do have a website, theupspring.com.au. And on my website, I've got a little booking thing for people to call me. And it doesn't matter who you are or what stage, whether you're interested in mediation or not. I'm really happy for people to book in for a call when they just go, what am I meant to be doing? Where do I go first?
Where do I go from here? Absolutely. Yeah. So the upspring.com.au. Please get on it, book in a time, message Marnie, and we'll bring you back for some bonus questions. Marnie, thanks so much for being here today.
Thank you very, very much.
My pleasure. And if you're a legend of law or know someone who is and you'd like to be on the show, get in contact. We come out every Wednesday, interviewing another legend of law. And we've got May from Johnson Winters Slattery later today, I believe at 4 or 4:30. So we're looking forward to Megan coming on the show. And thank you so much for tuning in. And you can get the podcast wherever you get them on Apple and Spotify. Bye for now, everyone. Bringing you back, Marnie, quickly for some bonus questions. If you could explain your role to a 6-year-old child, how do you do that? And how would you do that?
Look, I help people who are feeling sad, really upset and hurt. So I use their superpowers to come together and do something good together.
Love that. Use the superpowers, help people that are feeling sad. Very nice. And if you could give yourself advice at any age, as in go back in time, what age would you visit yourself and what would the advice be that you'd give yourself?
Well, I set up my first business when I was about 25 and I look back now, like it's okay now, but I look back then and I think I was in such a hurry all the time and I just chill, take a pause, take a moment, have some holidays. I didn't
just relax.
Do that. I mean, I had fun. Don't get me wrong. I had fun, but yeah, if that's inspirational to anyone, I don't know, but please, you deserve some holidays and some breaks to just congratulate yourself on working hard and having a go at something.
Lovely, Marnie. I'm sure a lot of people watching will get a few gems out of that. Thank you again, and be great. Thanks, Marnie.
Thanks a lot. Bye, everyone.
Make it count, everyone. Take care.